right, hey everybody, it's Dr. Benson. I want to share with you guys about building healthy families. That's going to be our workshop coming up on August 7th. I'm really excited about this workshop. Obviously, this is one that means a lot to me, building healthy families, having Jonah, my 3.5-year-old, and Jameson, our 1-year-old. Nothing's more important than their health and building them up to have an amazing, healthy future. And what we know is that health starts from birth on, and really even in the womb is when you can build up a healthy baby, is mom's health. And so whether you guys are kids or you're in your 20s and 30s or 40s and have kids at home, or even if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond, our Building Healthy Families workshop is going to be for you, because it's not just about kids, but it's really about how to build a healthy body, that no matter what your age, how to work on getting healthier, getting stronger, preventing disease as you get older rather than letting your body fall apart. And one of the best ways to build a healthy body is to really focus on making sure that you're putting the right foods in your body. And you've heard the saying, you are what you eat, and that is exactly true. And the foods that we eat actually become our new body. So it's like you're either eating foods that are gonna build a strong, healthy body, or you're eating foods that are gonna make you sick and drive disease. And this is a reason why obviously we need to do a workshop like this. For the first time in history, the generation of kids that are growing up now are the first generation of children that are not expected to outlive their parents as far as their life expectancy. They're actually expected to die before their parents. And a big reason is because of pretty much what kids have been eating from the moment they're born, and how we know that these foods really drive disease and chronic diseases. And so I want to highlight a few of these things, really popular foods for children. So one of the foods is going to be cereal, breakfast cereals. And I went to the store yesterday and bought one of the kind of iconic cereals from my childhood, and it was Fruit Loops. And I know I grew up eating this, and I don't really think that my mom realized probably how bad it was for me, or she wouldn't have had it in our cupboards. But when you read the ingredients of Fruit Loops, I kind of have them highlighted down here. First ingredient in Fruit Loops is corn flour. And corn flour, pretty much 99% of corn in our country grown is genetically modified. And they're linking GMO foods like corn and soybeans to causing a lot of chronic health issues. And so that's the number one ingredient. The second ingredient on there is sugar. Actually, 1 cup of Fruit Loops has 10 grams of sugar per 1 cup. And back in the day when I used to eat cereal, like I would fill just a huge bowl full. That was probably 3 cups. So most kids are probably getting 30 grams of sugar, from actual servings, not 1 cup. And then the next ingredient on the label is modified food starch. And you'll find that in a lot of things. And so I looked up, well, what is modified food starch? And come to find out, it's food starch, which is pretty much like a type of sugar that's been modified using sulfuric acid or chlorine or other chemicals that are not altogether meant for human consumption. So it's a starch that's really not the best for you, that's been treated or modified with horrible chemicals. So obviously that's not a good thing. And then next ingredient is hydrogenated vegetable oil. Anything on a label, guys, that says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, you want to stay away from and avoid it like the plague. These are the oils that are linked to heart disease, that are linked to cancer. They cause systemic inflammation in your body, and your body can't break them down. They have a half-life that makes them stick around for months and months and months in your body. So obviously that's not a good thing. And then the next ingredient, red 40, blue 1, yellow 6. That's obviously what makes Fruit Loops look like Fruit Loops. And food dyes are notorious for not only causing hyperactivity, learning disabilities, ADD, ADHD, but they're known to actually cause tumors in lab mice. So on multiple levels, those are not good. And then the last thing is BHT, which is butylated hydroxytoluene. That sounds great, doesn't it? It's actually a preservative that's used for freshness. And so that's bad news. It's been linked to being it's actually, they're pretty much going to come out soon and say that it's classified as a human carcinogen. It's like on the list that they're probably going to say is a human carcinogen, meaning it actually causes cancer. So any one of those ingredients would not be good to be consuming, but let alone when they're all in one cereal that's marketed to children. I mean, you're pretty much feeding them disease and cancer and sickness in a bowl every morning with that. And just on a note with that too, 1 in 8 kids in our country have been labeled ADD, ADHD. Well, no wonder when they're starting their morning off with things like sugar that actually have been shown to shut down your brain function, all those artificial colorings and flavorings, you can't focus, you can't think, you can't learn when that's what you're putting in your body first thing in the morning. Another big thing is going to be juice boxes. And this is like the high C juice box, kind of classic juice box. But when you read the ingredients, number 1 ingredient is water, which I think if you buy something and the number 1 ingredient is water, it's like water's free. You should just drink water. I wouldn't be spending money on, buying a water if that's the number 1 ingredient. But then the second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, obviously a highly processed form of sugar. The next ingredient is orange and pineapple juice concentrates. Don't be fooled by thinking that that's a healthy ingredient. Any type of juice concentrate is merely sugar. It acts just like sugar. It's going to have the same bad effects of sugar, so it's pretty much sugar. And then you have natural and artificial flavors. And this is a big one to really watch out for. And natural versus artificial flavors, not much difference. I was reading about this and looking this up just to kind of find out for sure, but they said that natural flavors can have up to 100 different chemicals that can be disguised as natural flavors. So it doesn't, whether it says artificial or natural doesn't mean anything. I was reading this article and they said that McDonald's uses natural beef flavoring, natural beef, but it's actually made or derived from dairy and wheat. So you think about that, like, how could it be natural beef flavoring if it doesn't even come from beef? It's just pretty much all chemical. So those are known to really drive and cause a lot of health issues, a lot of allergies. And they are the 5th most popular ingredient in foods are natural and artificial flavorings. Like water, salt, sugar, they're right up there as being in pretty much a majority of all your packaged or boxed foods. And then last ingredient, sugar. So just nothing but bad stuff in there. Another one, this one can kind of get a lot of people, like think a granola bar, great thing to throw in a lunch or great thing to grab in the morning. But in their granola bar, in this one bar, there's over 6 different types of sugar that you'll find in this label. So sugar, corn syrup, sugar, fructose, cornstarch, and barley malt, which is another type of sugar. Sugar can be hidden in foods and over 60 different names for sugar. They can hide it in foods under 60 different names, and barley malt is one of those names, as well as fructose, corn syrup, cornstarch, sugar in there. And 1 bar is over 8 grams. So really no health benefit, and actually this definitely drives inflammation, heart disease, all the major health issues. And then another one I see a lot of kids going towards are like the fruit chews, fruit roll-ups. So this is kind of the classic fruit roll-up. And when you read the ingredients on the fruit roll-up, you have corn syrup, which is sugar, dried corn syrup, which is more sugar, pear puree concentrate, which any type of concentrate is even more sugar, and then the additive citric acid. And citric acid is not vitamin C, that's absorbic acid. Citric acid is a preservative, and it used to be derived from lemon peel, but they don't do that anymore. It's actually made from like this, pretty much like a fungus or a bacteria that they grow, and they yield it off of that. And they actually found that it weakens your teeth enamel, and that it actually causes your body to absorb more aluminum. So they're linking it to causing like aluminum toxicity, which aluminum has been linked to Alzheimer's and different type of health issues. And then obviously you have the natural flavors, which I talked about earlier. And then red 40, yellow 6 and 5, and blue number 1. All those things that are probably the worst for children, and yet these are the foods that are marketed to for kids. So big thing on label reading, whether you're an adult or a child, is you gotta know what you're eating. And when it comes to food, keep it real. Like, keep it real foods. Like, it's best to get foods that do not have a label at all. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, like these things that don't have a label, that's just, you know, food right from the ground, rather than coming from a package or a box. You know, that's always your best bet, is to get real food that really our body knows what to do. And I talk about it this week in the newsletter, that the more processed a food is, the less your body knows how to process it like food. So instead of being able to break that food down and build up healthy cells and tissues, it pretty much stores it, and it reacts to it as if it were a toxin. So I'm really excited for this workshop, guys. It's going to be an amazing event for anybody, no matter what your age. You're going to learn not only how to read labels, but you're going to learn how to just build an amazing, strong, healthy body, and just how to make sure you have great health for your future, and making sure your kids have great health for their future. Have a great day.